Can you raise that? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, no. The table.
The table, Shaykh.
خلاص. Okay. So. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن نهجهم بإحسان ليوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم معلم إبراهيم علمنا ومفهم سليمان فهمنا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are still dealing with the chapter of purity or purification. We dealt with najasa. We dealt with ablution also. And we are going to do another aspect of purity or purification, which we call al-hayd and then al-nifas. So we have babun fi hakam al-hayd wa nifas, as the chapter dealing with menstruation and postnatal bleeding. So we are going to ask our brother to read for us, and then we offer the explanation by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اغفر لنا ولمشايخنا ولجميع المسلمين. قال المؤلف حفظه الله تعالى: باب في أحكام الحيض والنفاس. أولا، الحيض وأحكامه. قال الله تعالى بعد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: ويسألونك عن المحيض قل هو أذى فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله إن الله يحب التوابين ويحب المتطهرين.
Regarding this chapter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْمَحِيضِ. They ask you who? Ar-Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are words from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says that وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْمَحِيضِ. They ask you concerning or regarding an issue pertaining to what? Menstruation. And menstruation, what is menstruation? Is what? The monthly cycle of what? Of women. They ask you concerning this. So our Rasul waited for an answer. The answer comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Huwa, that is, huwa here referring to what? To the al-mahid, menstruation. Huwa other, it is impurity, it is harm, it is a form of injury. Fa'tazilu nisa, therefore when women observe menstruation, do not approach them. Fa'tazilu nisa, do not approach the women fil mahid at the time or during the time of what? Of menstruation. Now, wala taqrabuhunna, do not get near to them. Do not get near to them hatta yatuhunna, until they what? They purify themselves by way of al-ghusl. فَإِذَا تَطَهَّرْنَ, and then once they attain purification, once they take the ghusl, فَأْتُوهُنَّ مِنْ حَيْثُ أَمَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ, then you can approach them, you can have intimacy with them according to what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained to you. Meaning there are rules and regulations pertaining to the intimacy with them. Now, all this explained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Allah yuhibbu tawabin. This because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala indeed and absolutely loves those who are turning always to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They make mistakes, they return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At-tawabin meaning they return constantly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيُحِبُّ الْمُتَطَهِّرِينَ, and He loves those who purify themselves. These words are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Communicate to our Rasulullah as a response to the question that was asked now. Well, Haid, now we are going to define what Haid is, what menstruation is. Now.
والحيض هو دم طبيعة وجبلة.
Now, well, Haid, what is known as menstruation, هو دم طبيعة. دم طبيعة is a natural blood. وجبلة. Jibila is the same as طبيعة. As a matter of fact, Jibila is synonym of before طبيعة. طبيعة يعني جبلة. They mean the same thing. طيب. It is a natural and intrinsic what? Blood that flows from a woman. Now, that's what we call menstruation.
يخرج من قعر الرحم.
يخرج من قعر الرحم. الرحم, that is the womb. يخرج يعني هذا الدم يخرج من قعر الرحم. It comes from the bottom of the womb. Down the bottom what? Of the womb of a woman or a female. Now, في أوقات معلومة, at specific and given times. It does not always flow, but it comes at what? Specific what? Periods. Now.
خلقه الله لحكمة إعداد الولد في بطن أمه.
خلقه الله لحكمة غذاء الولد في بطن أمه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this blood to be a form of nutrition or form food for what? For the baby in her womb. So a baby is in the womb of his or her mom. The baby has to feed. It feeds what? On the blood within what? The womb of the mother. That is the hikmah, that is the wisdom behind what? The creation of what? The blood. Now.
لافتقاره إلى الغذاء.
لِإِفْتِقَارِهِ إِلَى الْغِذَاءِ, because the unborn, right in the womb, is in need of what? Food, of nutrition, right? To what? To be alive. Now, just as people outside the womb, like we human beings outside the womb of our parents, we also need what? Food for our what? Survival. Similarly, the inborn is also in need, dire need of food. Because of the last mother created this blood, and it comes what? That is fed, that the inborn feeds on, right in the womb of his or her mom. Now.
إذ لو شاركها في غذائها لضعفت قواها.
Now. إذ لو شاركها في غذائها, if this inborn should participate, should take part in what? In the food that is supposed to be given to the baby, what is going to happen? If the womb that has the blood, the baby is going to take away the blood, or the woman is going to feed on the blood. The woman doesn't feed on the blood, right? So if the baby is going to what? Feed on the blood, and the dawfan quwaha, if the woman is going to what? Feed on the blood, and then the blood is supposed to be for the inborn, what is going to happen? It's got to take away what? The power or the strength of what? Of the woman. The woman is going to lose some of her power, of her strength, of her health. Now, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates this blood as what? As a means for the woman, as a means for an inborn to feed on it. Now, so the blood is created as a feed for the inborn. And the baby is feeding what? On the blood in the womb of the mom. So the Shaykh is saying, لو شاركها في غذائها لضعفت قواها. If the baby participates with what? The feed, in the feeding of the blood with the mother is going to what? Lose some of her power. Now, so what happens is contained in the next stanza. فجعل الله
فجعل الله له هذا الغذاء لذلك قل أن تحيض الحامل فإذا ولدت قلبه الله لبنا يدر من ثدييها ليتغذى به ولدها.
فجعل الله له هذا الغذاء. فجعل الله له هذا الغذاء. Therefore, this blood is being fed on by the baby. So the baby feeds on the blood. The woman does not participate, what? Use the blood at all. Now, it's specifically created in the womb for so that the baby should feed on it. Now, so you can see that it's not normal. It's not normal or not usual that a woman who is pregnant will have menstruation. A woman who is normally having a pregnancy is not what? It's not supposed to have menstruation, because if it menstruates, it means that she's denying what? The baby from what? From his feed, because the blood is there to be fed on by the baby. So if the woman also is using the blood, then of course the baby is being denied. So the woman is having pregnancy. Inside her womb is what? Is the baby. The baby has to feed. So the baby has to feed on the blood. So if the mother menstruates, where is the blood? What becomes of the blood? It's gone. It's gone now. So that is why a pregnant woman is not menstruating, to allow the blood to be what? Fed on by the baby that she is carrying now. فَإِذَا وَلَدَتْ, as soon as the mother gives off a baby, as soon as she brings forth, what happens? قَلَبَهُ اللَّهُ لَبَدًا. It becomes what? The blood is transforms into what? Into milk, which what? Into her breast, and then the baby feeds on now. So then the blood becomes what? The milk becomes what? The food of the baby. But before birth, the blood was the food of the baby in the inborn. Now the baby is out. The blood turns into what? Into milk to be fed on by the baby. Now.
ولذلك قل أن تحيض المرضع فإذا خلت المرأة من حمل
ورضاع
بقي لا مصرف له ليستقر في مكان من رحمها ثم يخرج في الغالب في كل شهر 6 أيام أو 7 أيام.
فإذا خلت المرأة من حمل ورضاع, as soon as the mother is done with what? The pregnancy and also the nurturing of the baby, بقي لا مصرف له, then there's no way for the blood again. The blood is no more needed, so it turns into what? Menstruation periodically. So after the baby is born, the baby is being fed, and then all the months after, the woman will be menstruating what? So that she goes back to what? To her normal period. Now, ثم يخرج في الغالب نعم. And then this comes by way of every month the woman has to bleed by way of menstruation. Now, either 6 days or 7 days in every month. Now, and there are women, they are normally used to what? They are specific days. And the nature of women differs. Some may bleed up or menstruate for 6 days, even some 5 days, some 7 days, and so forth and so on. Now, but after some time, they become used to their specific forms for days during which they menstruate. No. وقد يزيد عن ذلك أو يقل, as you are saying, it may be 6 days or 7 days or less, according to what? The difference of what? The nature of various women. ويطول شهر المرأة ويقصر حسب ما ركبه الله فيه أو الطبع من الطبع. In other words, as we have said, the nature of women is different. So the number of days that they menstruate also should show difference. Now, والحيض
وللحائض خلال حيضها وعند نهايته أحكام مفصلة في الكتاب والسنة. من هذه الأحكام
نعم. وللحائض خلال حيضها وعند نهايته أحكام مفصلة في الكتاب والسنة pertaining to the haid, the person who is, the woman who is menstruating. There are laws and regulations and conditions pertaining to that are elaborated in the Sunnah of Rasulullah as well as in the Quran also. Now, من هذه الأحكام
من هذه الأحكام أن الحائض لا تصلي ولا تصوم حال حيضها.
نعم. من هذه الأحكام أن الحائض لا تصلي ولا تصوم حال حيضتها. In other words, during the period that a woman is menstruating, what does she not to do? There are certain things that what are forbidden unto her, like what? Like fasting and then what? Making salah. Now, these things are out of reach. She is prohibited from tackling those things. Now,
قال عليه الصلاة والسلام لفاطمة بنت أبي حبيش إذا أقبلت الحيضة فدعي الصلاة.
قال عليه الصلاة والسلام لفاطمة بنت أبي حبيش إذا أقبلت الحيضة فدعي الصلاة. That is the dalil, the first dalil from Rasulullah. And he has said to Bint Abi Hubaysha, when the menstruation comes, please leave salah. Don't make salah. طيب.
فلو صامت الحائض أو صلت حال حيضها لم يصح لها صوم ولا صلاة.
فلو صامت الحائض أو صلت حال حيضها لم يصح لها صوم. If she should go ahead to fast during the time she's menstruating, then of course her salah cannot be accepted. It's not acceptable for her to make salah or to make fasting at the time when she's menstruating. So the first rule is what? A woman is menstruating, she has to forgo a salah and also has to forgo something that is fasting. Adalil?
لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهاها عن ذلك والنهي يقتضي عدم الصحة بل تكون بذلك عاصية لله ولرسوله.
لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهاها عن ذلك, because the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden that unto her. And forbidden an nahyu, whatever is forbidden, it constitutes or it indicates, it shows this is disobedience. Now, thank you. So it shows that this is incorrect. What you are doing, it is nahyu, it is forbidden. then when you do it, it is not good, it shows disobedience, and it's not acceptable. بذلك عصية لله ورسوله. But oftentimes it becomes disobedience. What? It shows as a mark of disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and disrespect as well. Now, something has been forbidden and you go you embark upon it, you carry it out, then you are censurable, you are blamed, and it is not acceptable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now,
فإذا طهرت من حيضها فإنها تقضي الصوم دون الصلاة بإجماع أهل العلم.
فإذا طهرت من حيضها فإنها تقضي الصوم دون الصلاة بإجماع أهل العلم. As soon as the menstruation is over, then of course, menstruation is over, she has to take a ghusl, and in that case, she can go back to what? To make salah and then make psalm at the same time, inshallah.
قالت عائشة رضي الله عنها كنا نحيض على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فكنا نؤمر بقضاء الصوم ولا نؤمر بقضاء الصلاة متفق عليه.
So here's the dalil, another dalil. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها كنا نحيض على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فكنا نؤمر بقضاء الصوم ولا نؤمر بقضاء الصلاة. Aisha has said that during the time of Rasulullah, we have been making what? We have been menstruating. After menstruation, then we are made what? To make the salah. But what? During the time we are menstruating, we pay what? The psalm, but not the salah. In other words, we are menstruating, and then we are commanded to what? To pay back what? The fast, but not the salah. Now, so a woman is menstruating, maybe she's menstruating for about maybe 6 days or 7 days. After Hayd is over, she takes a ghusl, and then she what? Pay or make the 6 days that she missed fasting. She missed fasting, but not 6 days that she missed what? A salah. Here's the difference.
ومن أحكام الحائض أنها لا يجوز لها أن تطوف بالبيت.
أن تطوف
أحسن الله إليك. ومن أحكام الحائض أنها لا يجوز لها أن تطوف بالبيت ولا تقرأ القرآن ولا تجلس في المسجد.
So these are the don't do's for a woman who is menstruating, and it's as follows. وَمِنْ أَحْكَامِ الْحَائِضِ. Some of the rules and regulations pertaining to the woman who is menstruating, أنها لا يجوز لها أن تطوف بالبيت. It is not permissible, it is not allowed for her to what? Make circumambulation around the Kaaba. She cannot do that. She can go to Hajj, but so long as she's in the state of menstruation, she cannot circumambulate around the Kaaba. No tawaf for her. ولا تجلس في المسجد. Not allow her for a sojourn, for a staying in the masjid. ويحرم على زوجها وطئها في الفرج حتى ينقطع حيضها. So in other words, it is also not allowed for her to sit in the masjid. Also, it's not allowed for her husband to have intimacy with her, and also unless and until what? The haid is over and she has taken her ghusl. Now, all these things are don't do's for what? For a woman who is menstruating. So it has to be taken into consideration, and enormous attention should be given to this. Now,
قال تعالى ويسألونك عن المحيض قل هو أذى فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض ومعنى الاعتزال ترك الوطء.
So we are taking another dalil from the previous ayah that we read, the same ayah. ويسألونك عن المحيض قل هو أذى فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله. The same hadith that when your women are in the period of menstruation, please do not approach them until what? they purify themselves. Once the purification is ascertained, then you can go back to what? To have intimacy with them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who turn repeatedly to Him in repentance, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who seek forgiveness from Him. Now, ومعنى الاعتزال قوله ومعنى الاعتزال ترك الوطء. That is the intizal mean in the ayah, that is mentioned in the ayah, that is do not have what? Intimacy with them. Now, فَاعْتَزِلُوا نِسَاء, do not have intimacy with them. Now, that's the meaning of intizal here. وقال النبي
صلى الله عليه وسلم اصنعوا كل شيء إلا النكاح رواه الجماعة إلا البخاري في لفظ إلا الجماع.
Another evidence to prop up this statement is that Rasulullah said that اصنعوا كل شيء إلا النكاح, do whatever you want to do, playing that kind of thing now, but not to have intimacy with her. Now, that is forbidden during the time what she is having her menstruation. Now, ويجوز
لزوج الحائض أن يستمتع منها بغير الجماع في الفرج كالقبلة واللمس ونحو ذلك.
ويجوز لزوجها الحائض, it is permissible for the husband of the person, the woman who is menstruating, and يستمتع منها بغير الجماع, and can play with her, but not to have intimacy with her, and then like qubla, kissing, or lams, and then touching, or now that, things like that now, but not have to have real intimacy with her now. These are permissible.
ولا يجوز.
Okay.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
We shall take this for the last, right? Inshallah. ولا يجوز. We'll stop with that. Inshallah.
ولا يجوز لزوجها أن يطلقها وهي حائض. قال تعالى: يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن أي ظاهرات من غير جماع. وقد أمر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من طلق امرأته وهي حائض أو يراجعها ثم يطلقها حال طهرها إن أراد.
Here is another thing that is forbidden. ولا يجوز لزوجها أن يطلقها وهي حائض. It is not permissible for the man whose wife is in the period of menstruation to divorce her. that is not allowed for you. That is not the sunnah. I طاهرات من غير جماع. In other words, يا أيها الذين آمنوا أو يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن. This is the dalil. It is not allowed, permissible for a man to divorce his wife at the time of menstruation. What is the dalil? Allah tells Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, and it also stands for the what? The generality of the Muslim Ummah, that anytime you want to divorce your women, please divorce them at the what? Accepted times. At what? At the time when they are clean. They are clean, they are tahirat, they are clean without any intimacy. Not the time when what? They are having what? Their period. Now, that is not allowed. So once again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Nabi Sallallahu, and for that matter, the entirety of the Muslim Ummah, that when you want to divorce your women, do not divorce them what? At the time when they are what? In their menstruation. Now, they have to be what? Tahirat, they are clean. Now, what another dalil is that الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وقد أمر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من طالق امرأته وهي حائض أن يراجعها ثم يطلقها على طهرها إن أراد. Now, Amara, the person, he divorced his wife, Rasulullah commanded the person to go and bring her back if he wants it. And then to what again? Divorce her at the time when she is clean. That is if he wants to bring her back. So these two dalil shows that you cannot divorce these women in the period of menstruation unless or until they are clean. And if that happens, then if you want to bring them back, that's up to you. So inshallah, we might end here and then inshallah we'll continue for the next time. In Hadith al-Baqiyah, inshallah.
I have a question. So, you mentioned that she has to be pure and no
Intimacy.
So let's say, for example, let's say, for example, someone has an issue with his wife, for example, at the beginning of the month, and then her period come in 2 weeks. So he has to wait until the 2 weeks come. Then her periods come. Then after that, he can divorce her. Is that what you mean?
What it is that if she is menstruating, do not divorce her. Wait until the menstruation is over, takes the ghusl, and then you can divorce her at the time when she is clean. Now, then when you divorce her, if you want to bring her back, you can do so. But you are not obligated to bring her back. That is left to your choice. But at the time when she's menstruating, it is not allowed. That is not the sunnah. That is not the guidance of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what you call by what? Intatihinna. Do not do them, do not divorce them, separate, tear them apart, unless not until they are in a period of what? Cleanliness. Tahirat. Now, without what? Without intimacy. Tahirat, but if they are tahirat, they are clean, and intimacy occurs, again you are forbidden. You cannot do that. So, two things. Tahirat, clean, without what? Intimacy. That's an important condition. Clause.
The question, he had a question.
Is she not allowed to just read the Quran, or is there reciting it as well?
This is another issue. Touching, she's not allowed to touch it now. But if scholars say that if she is afraid of forgetting the Quran, she can read some ayahs now. If she's afraid of what? For losing what? Her memorization, she can read it now. That is if she's afraid for what? Losing her memorization, then there's no harm in that, inshallah. But not to touch it.
I had another question, but inshallah.
نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله سبحانك الصلاة والسلام. السلام عليكم.
الله أكبر